Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ben Gray. And for those of you who do know me, I'm still Ben Gray. I'm a finance consultant and a ledger guru based in Columbus, Ohio. I have like eons of accounting and finance experience. And I'd like to share with you today a few updates to the financial management processes and functionality in Acumatica 24R2. So we're going to talk about three things. I'm going to show you three things. First, we're going to go over the release of overdue charges and credit memos for customers on credit hold. Next, we're going to look at the export of specific bank transactions to Excel. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at the removed ability to set the payment date for integrated processing. All right. So first off, so in previous versions of Acumatica, you could not release an overdue charge transaction for a customer who had the status of credit hold. So we see here we have an overdue charge for a customer. Who is on credit hold. So in previous versions, what we would have to do, we would actually have to navigate to the customer profile over here. The system lag is really accenting the improved functionality of 24R2, so appreciate that. So we're going to manually change the status of the customer here from credit hold to active. And then we'd have to navigate back to our transaction over here. Open it up. And release it. But with Acumatica 2024R2, you no longer have to manually do that process of jumping between screens, manually changing the status of the customer. You can do that all from the invoices and memo screen. So what we're going to do, we're going to calculate some overdue charges here. Going to set our statement cycle. And we're going to click calculate. And we're going to go down here and select a customer that I know I placed on credit hold before this, because I prepare. So we're going to go ahead and process this single transaction here. All right, let's take a look at that transaction. We're going to go back to invoices and memos and find our overdue charge right here. And from this screen, regardless of the status of the customer, on credit hold or active, we can work this document all the way through to posting by taking it off hold here. And we'll see here, this is just a credit hold. The document credit hold is not a customer status credit hold just because they've reached their credit limit. Take it off document credit hold and release. So again, real nice to not have to jump between screens. You can do that all from the invoices and memo screen. This functionality also exists for credit memos, not just overdue charges. And okay, all right. So now I'd like to look at another minor change in 24R2. We're going to look at the banking module here. We're going to look at the ability to export specific bank transactions from the process bank transactions screen. So first off, we're going to import some transactions here. All right, and we're going to set our statement date. All right, and we're just going to load records from file here. And this would work if you have bank feeds or you're importing other file types, but I'm just using load records from file because I love Excel. It's the best. All right. All right, so we're going to save this and then we're going to process it. This is going to bring us to our process bank transaction screen where we could auto match, but since these are demo transactions, I'm going to manually match these for us. I'm going to say this transaction was this one. Sure, that was it. And this payment matches this payment over here. All right, so now I'm going to throw a filter on this. I'm going to look at only the transactions that aren't matched because I want to prepare for my bank reconciliation or my credit card reconciliation. So here are our transactions that don't have an Acumatica transaction to match to. Now, in previous versions of Acumatica, you'd have to manually create this exception list to distribute to appropriate parties to find information on it. But with 24R2, they've added this export to Excel function, which you've seen across a lot of other modules. It's a great function. I know, Troy, you like that for your exporting for your budget imports. So here, you can't see it because I'm on a small monitor here, but this is, if you're on a larger monitor, you would see an X inside of a square, which is export to Excel. And we can dump these unmatched transactions into Excel. And I already have them, so we're not going to have to wait on the download. We could come in here and save it and distribute it to maybe an AP clerk or a card holder who maybe forgot to submit a receipt. It would aid in your preparation for your bank reconciliation. So it's a small change, but it's a really, really nice quality of life improvement, especially for accounting types. We know how important it is to make sure we have complete data when beginning our bank recs. All right, and the last thing I'd like to talk about is let's see, where we're going to banking, and we're going to go to bank payment methods. And yes, we're going to leave. We don't care. That's all right. All right, so we want to talk about the removal of the ability to set payment dates to bank transaction date for integrated credit card transactions. That's been removed. Now, that was a lot of words, and what the heck did that mean? Well, so in previous versions of Acumatica, there is still a checkbox that says set payment date to bank transaction date. Now, what this means is if you have an unreleased payment, what will happen is when you import your bank transactions and then create the match, the system will change the date of that unreleased payment to match that of the imported bank transaction. Now, that's useful for some payment methods, but it can be really problematic when you're dealing with integrated credit card processing. So with 2024 R2, Acumatica made a little change. So if we're here in settings for use in AR, now you'll note we have this set to true. So if we had imported these transactions, it'll update the unreleased transaction date to match the bank import. But if we now select integrated processing here, you'll see the system automatically sets that checkbox to false and disables it. So this secures your transaction date for all of your unreleased credit card transactions that are matched with a bank import. All right. So again, not a huge changes, but these are just really nice quality of life or control improvements they've made in 2024 R2. We reviewed the release of the overdue charges and credit memos from the customers on credit hold. We can do that from the invoices and memo screen. We reviewed the export of those specific bank transactions to Excel, again, to aid with prepping for your bank recs or your credit card reconciliations. And then we just looked at the removal of the ability to set the payment date for the integrated credit card processing.